I'm Aaron Gallo.
I'm Marty Hogan.
And I'm Eric Berry.
And we're from the Starfleet Escape podcast. And you're listening to another great Four-Eyed Radio product. For more shows, check out foureyedradio.com.
It's your good pal, Steve-O from the Four-Eyed Radio Network. I'm here to talk to you about a wonderful designer we all know, Revenge Lover. Illustrates and designs that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, please visit revengelover.com. And just do yourself a favor and tell them Steve-O sent you. I know it really doesn't count for anything, but, I mean, come on. Who are you gonna trust? You gonna trust somebody else? No, you're gonna trust me, Steve-O. Because, face it, I'm awesome.
Fool me once, shame on you, America. Space City Nerd, Musings of a Geek, the Four-Eyed Radio Network, and the Houston Nerdcasting Collective are proud to present Tim the Toolman Taylor! Tonight on the Warpod.
I didn't know you were really going to go with that joke.
I'm Zach Nanimus, and you all know my host, Al, How I Al'd Your Mother, Borland.
Is that me?
Yes.
Oh. I guess a.k.a. Johnny Dim, then.
There we go.
Yeah.
Tonight we're going to talk about the final trailer that's going to debut on Monday, so yesterday for all you warlocks out there, from Star Wars.
Yeah.
The new Pixar announcements about impending sequels. You can't see my angry face, but there it is. We're also going to do a little gameplay sell-em-off, match-em-off, where we try to predict how well the next round of big AAA games are going to sell this holiday season. Mm-hmm. And we have the top 3 spoilers of all time!
Yes.
But first, there's something that Johnny's been wanting to do, actually for a while now.
Yeah.
He wants to talk about what we've been watching and playing lately. He wants for this to be sort of a larger segment.
Yeah.
So Johnny, what have you been watching and or playing?
Well, yesterday I saw Crimson Peak.
Okay.
That's a movie.
Yeah, I wanted to talk. I was really glad that you saw this because nothing about the advertisements for this movie makes me interested in it.
It had a weird effect on me. The marketing that they chose to go with had a weird effect on me because I never once thought this right here, this is going to be a good movie. Never once thought that, but I still wanted to see it.
Okay.
And it was just kind of a weird effect. And it was from Del Toro. Guillermo del Toro? I always get his first name wrong.
It's Guillermo.
Yeah, so it's from him. So his stuff is always very stylized. Mm-hmm. It's usually you can count on interesting monsters and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I think the interesting thing about Guillermo del Toro is that he had like a cult following,
right?
That like sort of parlayed itself into a people respect what he does, but don't always fully appreciate it, I think, because people think of like Guillermo del Toro and they're like, oh, he's like the master of the visual medium.
Yeah.
But people kind of forget how campy Hellboy was.
Yeah.
I love the Hellboy series.
Yeah.
But when they think Guillermo del Toro, they think, oh, the most gruesome horror things you can think of. Watch Hellboy again.
Yeah.
Like, it's not... A Christmas theme to those movies would not be out of place.
I agree.
They're that sort of strange yet magical yet offbeat.
Yeah, and what I'm getting more out of his work, especially after seeing this movie, is like he takes you out of the normal experience of watching a movie. It's like you're almost aware that you're watching a movie all the time with him because it's sometimes, especially this one, it seems like a spoof unto itself. Like it's spoofing itself in some instances. Like he uses some weird effects. Like you don't see it very often anymore. But you know that one effect, a transitional effect, that let's say
a star wipe. Yes, I know.
It's not the star wipe. No, it's the black circle, the black screen, and then you see the circle of just that one little, just to highlight something, and then it expands, and then it becomes the whole screen. You know what I'm talking about? And then
it's called an iris something.
Yeah, and they also do the opposite way where they shrink it down.
Yeah.
A black circle that comes in. Yeah. They do that like 4 times during the movie. And it's one of those weird effects. It's like you don't see that very often.
Gosh, that was much more popular in like the 1920s.
Yes. But that's the thing about this movie. It's like it seems like the whole time I kept wondering, am I just not getting this movie because it's like a throwback to an older style that I don't know. Like I don't know very well. It seemed that way.
Have you ever seen The Illusionist?
No.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. That one had who was that?
It wasn't Hugh Jackman. That was The Prestige.
Yeah, no. I saw The Illusionist.
Okay, that one. Edward Norton.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
So, okay. Did you see a lot of parallels between those movies? Because The Illusionist was straight up done in the silent film style.
Not maybe a little bit. It's been a while since I've seen The Illusionist, but there's maybe some similarities, not a lot. But it wasn't just that; it was just the way the story was told. It was like a weird. I don't know. It was kind of a campy thing. It was really weird.
Was it laid out for you like really clearly? Like, from the get-go, that, like, this is a haunted house, and this is the monster, or at least the person who's responsible for monsters, etc. Because that's kind of how... That's how silent film was. Everything was really on the surface.
I'd say it's fairly close to that.
Okay.
But what also seems strange about the movie is the pacing. It took you forever for the characters to even get to the house. Like, the pacing just seemed off.
Maybe it's like an homage to Nosferatu.
Maybe, yeah.
Just open it.
Yeah, you're fine.
You're trying to open a Coke bottle on the DL.
On the DL. But anyway, overall...
It was like the daddest thing
yeah,
I ever said.
Both of us. Opening that Coke up on the DL.
Go enjoy a meme.
No, overall, I'll just say the movie, I did not like it, but at the same time, like I said before, when I saw the commercials and stuff, I was like, I knew it wasn't going to be a good movie, but still wanted to see it. I'm not unhappy. I'm not dissatisfied with the fact that I saw the movie. I'm kind of glad I saw it, but it's still a bad movie.
How was Tom Fassbenderson Batch?
Tom Hiddleston?
Yes.
Well, for the ladies out there who do like him, which I don't understand. I've never understood the fascination with him.
He's British.
Is that it? Is that all there is to it? Is he just British?
He's got symmetrical features and clear skin, and his
symmetrical features.
He's a gentleman.
No, I'm laughing about that because I was about to say that you do see his ass in the movie. Fairly symmetrical.
I would love if we learn later that Chris Hemsworth is his butt double for that movie.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious. But no, yeah, it was funny. Jessica J. Free went and saw the movie with me, or I went with her. Actually, I went with her and Rob.
What is the distinction? Did they pay for your ticket? Did you get?
No, they were out. They were having an outing over at No Label Brewery.
Okay.
And because Jessica was bored because me and Marlon were about to play Halo 3, trying to get caught up on our Master Chief Collection stuff.
Yeah, we're really behind.
Yeah.
How many days do we have to?
Less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks.
But the thing is,
3 and 4.
Yes, but it is okay for me if we go a little over that because our Halo 5 Let's Play is not going to be like immediately after Halo 5. It'll be in the first week or two.
Sure.
But anyway, so me and Marlon are going to do longer episodes, and more often we are going to be doing the sessions.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went with them. I met up with them after the no label stuff and went and saw it, and yeah. And Tom Hiddleston, he's fine in the movie. Everyone seems to be a little overacty. Mm-hmm. They're overacting a little bit in the movie, but he didn't do a bad job.
Was it scary?
No, in fact, I don't even want to put this in a horror genre at all. They had ghosts, and they were a little creepy at first, but once you saw the first couple, you're like, yeah, I'm cool with them being there.
I feel like once you saw the trailer,
yeah,
because there was nothing particularly gruesome, at least nothing that a modern audience wasn't prepared for.
Right.
It wasn't surprising how they show up. In fact, the trailer essentially tells you why they're there. They're not even ghosts. They're just alive. They're just still alive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say that any good media, I think I'm crystallizing this idea as we're speaking. Any good media is really about the surprise.
Right.
Jokes aren't funny if you already know the punchline.
Yeah.
Things aren't scary if you are if you already know when it's going to jump out. Things aren't suspenseful if you know everybody's going to get out safe.
Right.
So I feel,
and that was the trick with this movie, is that you don't. There were a couple times where it was a little surprising, but it wears off very quickly, and then you don't get that much throughout the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. So, and they kind of intro it. They kind of tell you the role of the ghost in the first 10 minutes of the movie, because there's a quick cameo of one of the relatives of the main character, the woman, or one of her relatives appears twice as a ghost, and you're like, well, okay, so I get it. The ghosts they serve that purpose. I'm not going to spoil anything. Speaking of spoilers, but I know we're not making the segue yet. That would have been my first successful segue.
Yeah,
and I can't even use it. But anyway, what did you watch or see recently or play or what?
So I'm going to plug this. It's a Warpod Mini. Warpod Minis aren't as successful as some of the other episodes that we do.
Some of them are.
Some of them are. Recently, on the Warpod Mini, we sat down with Eric from the Ranger Danger Power Hour.
Ranger Command Power Hour.
from the Ranger Command Power Hour.
Yeah.
We actually agreed to come on to one of the full episodes of the Ranger Command Power Hour, and they know everything about Power Rangers, and we know nothing.
He schooled us on the history of Power Rangers.
We remember Mighty Morphin, me from like 3 years ago when I tried to get back into it when it hit Netflix, and you from when you were 8.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that's about right.
So he was talking very highly of different seasons that we should get into.
Yeah, he was throwing some recommendations our way, yeah.
And we both called a season of Power Rangers, so I thought I'd go ahead and get into mine. And I chose Power Rangers Mystic Force, because the Japanese version of that show, Magi Ranger, actually came highly recommended to me from a different friend. And I made a mistake.
You're not happy with the season?
I'm not happy. It's God. Do you remember the Dungeons and Dragons movie?
Yes, all of them.
Okay, so I only saw the first one.
The first one was one of the worst.
Okay, when fantasy is done cheaply and the interiors are all that faux wood. I think essentially what they do is they Dutchman the walls, and they just like press board up against it to give it divots and stuff like that.
Whatever the cheapest way to make it, that's the way they do it.
Yeah, and it's always lit really well because it's just on a sound stage and nobody really gave a crap. Like, that's every interior of this show. It's just though. And the thing is, some of the characters are really good. I can't think of her name, but the Blue Ranger is actually kind of deep. I hate Chip. Chip is the Yellow Ranger and the comic relief of the show, and he basically doesn't have a character of any kind. He says all the weirdest stuff, despite the fact that they're all literally about to die, because this show actually makes a point of explaining why their mentor character, the White Ranger, haven't given them all of their abilities yet. So their wands are cell phones.
Okay.
Which is okay. That's not a bad thing. Uh-huh. They were given wands, and the wands looked like crap. And they were all like, "We can't walk around with wands in New Zealand."
Right.
And she was like, "Okay, well, I'll make them something that'll blend in with the modern world. They're cell phones now." But for some reason, now all of their spells come in the form of codes that they type in.
Yeah.
And they get these codes from the Xenotome.
The Xenotome?
A book that contains everything we don't know.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
But it's in a book.
Yes. But we don't know it.
But we don't know it.
Yeah.
But if you read the book...
Then we know it.
Then you know it.
So the assumption...
Who's we? The human race?
I think just the Power Rangers.
Okay, just the Power Rangers.
But if the Power Rangers don't know it, I'm going to guess that's a pretty big secret to everybody else.
Somebody knows it, though.
But I think the most important thing to take from my experience with this is that it is entertaining.
Okay.
It is something I will sit down and watch.
Okay.
I would say that when you're doing something cheaply, but with Power Rangers, you do it cheaply by necessity.
Right.
That has to be part of it. don't do fantasy.
Right.
Fantasy needs to be able to pull you in.
Yeah.
You know, anything else you can make look soundstagey because really it has to do with lighting.
Yeah, yeah, and we know Power Rangers traditionally is a fairly cheap show.
Mm-hmm.
Just all of them seem to be. And I'll have a report on the one I chose. RPM. I watched like literally 10 seconds of. Jay Free did not want to watch that with me, so I turned it on something else. But I will have a report on that probably next episode to see how that's going. But I do want to second the fact that we did have him on. We had Eric on a mini episode, and those may not be available to everybody who's watching, or sorry, not to everybody who's listened to our show, because we do have different outlets that we put our show out. So if you wanted to go and actually check out the mini episodes, the best place to go look at that is either on like iTunes or going over to our website, which is warlocksentertainment.com, and you can find all the episodes there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of watching things...
Yes?
Speaking of watching things, this is something that Johnny Dim really didn't want to talk about. He kept throwing out this word called veto.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's not in your vocabulary anymore?
I do not think it means what you think it means. But he didn't want to talk about this, I guess because you don't think that Pixar is news.
Not to our audience, no, I don't. I think we just lost six listeners just right now.
At least.
Yeah.
Okay, but Pixar came out with some new announcements.
Yeah.
And some of them make me really happy, and some of them make me very angry.
Yeah.
So Pixar announced that in 2019 there will be a new Incredibles movie. Their big announcement was that a movie that should have come out 5 years ago is coming out in 3 years.
I have a question.
4 years.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does Disney still have own Pixar? Because I know they had some kind of big deal like years ago. Like they were in cahoots, and that someone had told me that they had a minimum number of movies before they could get out of the contract. Pixar did. Now that could be complete BS. I don't really remember.
There's some contention to. I'm going to move this.
Go ahead.
There's some contention to their relationship and some inner workings that I don't fully appreciate. The truth is I don't really care. I don't.
No, it doesn't matter. I was just curious.
There was actually a musical based upon all of this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's loosely based on Aladdin.
Right.
And it's called like it's called The Grand Vizier is what it's called. It's called The Grand Vizier, and it's very much about the relationship between Disney and Pixar. And apparently that's really funny. I've seen some stuff from it.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I asked was you're making crazy eyes at me. The reason I had asked was the only other company I know that's doing this. Listen to what we're telling you what we're gonna put out in 4 or 5 years is Disney with the Marvel stuff. Mm-hmm. That's the only other people I know that are that are projecting that far out and telling us what they're going to do. So,
well, yeah. So in a way, they still are.
Yeah.
But The Incredibles 2, which I'm very, very excited about, despite the extreme timeline.
Yeah. How many years has it been at that point since the original?
I remember watching it on DVD 10 years ago.
It's going to be like, I was going to say it's going to be at least 10 years between the two.
10 or 11.
Yeah.
Jay, do you know how long it's been out?
No. I can only spat out Fallout knowledge like on the fly. I'm sorry.
2004.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, 11 years.
Wow.
And 3 more years on top of that. So it will be 14 years before we see its sequel.
That's insane.
Which is interesting because that would probably be around where that would probably be how many years later this story would take place. That would put Dash in college. That would make Violet like a full-on adult, and it would make Jack a boy, 14 years old, around Violet's age. Which that's interesting. I would have done and they still may do a story where Jack's a little younger
if they do that timeline. If they stick to that timeline, they don't have to be that far in the future.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I would probably make this movie where Jack is about 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So they can sell them toys, get them money.
Right.
Because you know how little boys love to buy dolls of little boys.
Okay.
That's just true.
Okay.
I had a John Connor toy when I was a kid. I thought he looked kind of like me, so that was my that was my toy of me.
Anyway, what else are they doing?
Okay, so now we get into the stuff that I'm not excited about. Toy Story 4. They're making it. They're making a Toy Story 4.
When's that one coming out?
Oh no, I don't care.
I think 2019.
I never saw the end. I never saw 3. I was told that it was emotional, and it seemed to wrap up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah, and so now they're stretching it out even further when they really shouldn't. Yeah.
I think, okay, so we've been spitballing on what exactly this movie could be about, where you go from here using these characters, and the stuff that I've been coming up with are logical progressions. Like, we could put them in the not too distant future, and we could deal with problems like immortality, for example.
Yeah.
But that's not going to fit in the Toy Story movie, you know? What they did with the last Toy Story. Okay, so basically the arc goes like this: their owner is a child, and it's the trials and tribulations of being lost. That's a real little kid toy story.
Right.
Very, very well. God, that movie was just genius. Everything about it. That is a toy story. That's a story that I've told about toys, about my toys, losing them. I actually lost Splinter's cane in the closet. I can't find it.
Oh, that's sad.
It's not the one you got me. He didn't have a cane.
Right. No. Yeah. He was used.
Yeah. More so now than ever, Johnny.
Right.
So I don't know. It frustrates me because this is clearly, and it's 4 years away, and it's clearly a cash in.
This one's 4 years away as well.
That's what Jay said.
Oh,
I
okay.
think so.
Okay. Well, they wouldn't come out with them in the same year.
Speaking of cash-ins, well, is there anything you want to say? Well, you're
No,
not invested in Toy Story.
Absolutely
I
not.
could be wrong. I don't really remember.
Speaking of cash-ins, Cars. Cars already made a sequel, and it was awful.
Well, yeah, it focused on Nader.
Nader T. Krebs.
Yeah, I know this because
His name is Toe Mater.
Mater.
First name Toe.
Mater.
Because
and
he's
I
a
said
tow
Nader.
truck, yes.
Okay, well, I don't watch. I hadn't seen the sequel. I saw the first one and it was all right, I guess. But my
Do you like the nerd rage on that one?
that was pretty funny.
Excuse me, the Larry the Cable Guy's character in the movie about talking cars, that would be Toe Mater. I would appreciate if you could get that right.
Right.
Maybe
I
maybe write a
apologize.
few things down. Maybe go on a website that helps you exercise your brain. So Cars 3, Cars 1 was okay, Cars 2 was a travesty, Cars 3 may save it. I don't know. That happens sometimes. And finally, so Cars 3 might pull together. I'm trying to think of the instance where the sequel didn't do well, but then the threequel did well. I remember that happening once. Where did that happen? Don't say Iron Man 3 because you're wrong.
No, I would not say that.
There's always Star Wars Episode 3.
Episode 3?
Yeah.
I guess.
If you're looking at the series,
But technically 4, 5, and 6 came out beforehand, so those are always the gold standard. You cannot put 1, 2, or 3 above any of those.
no, I take them as two different sets of movies. So if you're looking at it, 1 was okay, 2 was garbage, and 3 wrapped it back up. You know, they took everything that we hated about the first one out of it and put everything that we liked about the second one back into it.
Okay, I didn't like any of them.
Right.
But I will agree that 3 was the best.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so there's that. So
Yeah.
Cars 3, I don't know. We'll wait and see.
What else we got?
No, it's just I
what?
want to make this point is that Pixar was like the king of IPs, like new IPs for a long time. It was exciting when they came out with a new idea, not a sequel to a successful idea.
Yeah, you're seeing the death of the original IP kind of solid. It's a real thing now because now even the king of original IPs isn't doing it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I mean, Hollywood's been doing this for a while and it's getting worse. So all new ideas are just it's not gonna be a real thing anymore.
No such thing as new ideas.
Yeah.
You can't see the glint leaving from my eye as I sip from a Coke Zero bottle.
It's pretty sad.
Slowly.
Yeah, is it?
As if it contained alcohol.
But it doesn't.
Yeah. Actually, there's methylene in there because of the aspartame. So there's that. The gameplay Selimoff Machimov. The gameplay Selimoff Machimov is just some words I said at you earlier today, America. And essentially what Johnny wanted to do is he wanted to do some predictions on 3 of the AAA games that'll be coming out this holiday season.
Fallout 4, Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, and Halo 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Johnny will be giving a first month prediction, and I will.
No, I'm going to do first week.
You'll do first week. You're going to tone it down.
Yeah.
You're gonna be respectful of the medium here.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, based upon sales indexes of very popular games previously, and as they've done in the week, and I think all of the previous installments of these games have also been sold in the holiday season. Am I wrong about that?
Halo, all of them. All the major Halos have been released during the holiday season.
Okay, and that is an important factor. And
I don't know about Fallout, but I would imagine they were released in the holiday season. They were smart enough to do that, I'm sure. At least starting from 3. 3 and New Vegas.
Yeah. Okay, so Johnny, why don't you go first, starting with Halo?
Okay, now this is tricky because I looked at the history of the Halo franchise and how well their past games have done. Halo 3 is head and shoulders above all the other Halo games. It did millions in the first week. I think it was the first week.
What was it, 6 million the first week?
No, I think it was like 3.
Okay.
But it was still a huge release. And that was the first one they had on the 360. So this one, I believe that since it's the first one on Xbox One, it will be a big deal. But considering the rest of the history of the Halo games, they've actually not been doing as well. They're closer to, like, in the entire life cycle, being like 2 million or whatever. Really? That low? I think one of them was 6. I'd have to look it up again. I don't remember exactly what it was. But I think Halo 5 will do about 1 million. I'm gonna say 1 or 2 million in the first week. But officially, let's say 1.5. Okay. Yeah, officially that'll be my guess. I'll give it a 3 million. Okay. I'm giving it a 3 million because I think that, I don't know, maybe it's just my involvement in podcasting and being more up to date with gaming news and stuff like that, but I feel like the anticipation for this game has been built up a little bit more. Especially we're dealing with Master Chief not being the main character. We had a poncho time. The Master Chief was in a poncho, which brings in the ethnic market. We just got a glare from Captain J. Those Mongolians love them ponchos. If it's based on nothing, is it still racism? No. Okay. Know how those Ecuadorians, they have at least 3 lamps in their home. Always. It's a staple for the Mongolians. Now, the marketing has been brilliant for Halo 5, so I wouldn't be surprised if you were right about the 3 million. But also the other factor that had to be heavily weighed in this is that it's a very busy holiday season. That's true. But the reason that I said 3 is probably going to be one of my more modest estimates. Okay. I think that out of the 3 games that we're talking about, this one's not going to do as well. And I think, and this isn't just me being biased because I recently started playing Destiny, but I think a lot of Halo's market is in Destiny. Yeah. Just playing that game, I can see all the things that made Halo great and how it transferred to this universe very well, something that's already very popular and, by the way, is still making buckets of money for Bungie. Yeah, absolutely. And it needs to, because they sunk a shit ton of money into that game. Yeah. Okay, next up is Battlefront. Battlefront Collective Agency. Star Wars Battlefront Collection Agency. Okay, you go first on this one. Battlefront is going to... I think Battlefront is going to break 6. Really? I do. 6 million.
people are excited about this game, and especially it's going to be riding the coattails of Star Wars. I think that there were at least 4 million involved in the beta.
9
million, yeah. So it was a very popular beta. It was really a popular beta. You had Let's Plays. You had stuff on Imager about this.
Mm-hmm.
The polish is all there. The fun is all there. Being a hero character is super satisfying. I spent at least 5 hours on the beta.
Yeah.
And on Destiny, a game that I'm now enjoying, I spent about 20 minutes.
Right.
Right. I think we're looking at a pretty big contender here. My modest estimate is 6 million in the first week.
I'm only at 1 million on this one.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're talking about under 1 million units sold.
Yes.
Okay, so you think that we're going to lose 8/9 of the people who were in the beta?
Yes.
Out of 170 million gamers in America.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now, and part of the reason again was that it's a busy season. Now, one thing I may be underestimating the actual Star Wars influence on this, because I know that Star Wars is going to be a big deal around that time. That I'm probably underestimating that. This is a very moderate estimate, and the reason I'm so low on it is because I think that the beta revealed what the game is, and I think there's a lot of people who are not on board with the direction they ended up going. I think a bunch of people jumped on board to play the beta just to see what it was going to be, because there's been so much controversy around this game. They wanted to see what they were really getting. And I think a lot of people were disappointed, and I think a lot of people are not going to play it as much as we think. And if your number is correct, which I wouldn't be surprised if it was, I think it's going to drop off. It's not going to have like a. They're not going to
sustain it.
It's not. Yeah, they're not going to sustain
the community,
those numbers, and I think it's going to drop. It's going to be very. We're seeing that more and more with just the way that people's attention spans are, and especially gamers. Like the big Titanfall fiasco. I mean, everybody played that for like 2-3 weeks, and then nothing.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing that more and more, and this, I think, is going to be another example of that.
And that's a valid point, because these two model one another. Because Titanfall had minimal focus on its story aspects.
It was all about gameplay.
Well, the story aspects were there.
Yes.
And in Battlefront, they won't exist.
Right.
There will be individual missions, but,
They might, yeah, and I think they're really just going to be recreating famous battles, mostly. I don't think it's going to be like any of the other Battlefronts, which were really different games than this. Mm-hmm. This is so much different. This is like Battlefield or Call of Duty, almost.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And lately, with the stories taking the back seat to the multiplayer in those games, we've been seeing the same phenomenon.
Right.
Battlefield and games like Call of Duty and stuff like that, they're becoming rhetorical. They're becoming almost jokes. And people are always hailing back to, remember how good these parts of the old first-person shooters in insert overplayed first-person shooter here.
Right.
They look back fondly when the games were games and not multiplayer arenas.
Yeah.
So it's a valid point. Here's my counterpoint. Star Wars, talking about Star Wars.
No, that's a very, very well made point.
Thank you. It's Star Wars. What are you going to do?
I know exactly. And like I said, I admit that I may be underestimating that part of it. Which brings us to our third game, Fallout 4. Fallout 4, this one I think is going to take the cake as far as the champion of games. So, this holiday season. And I think we're going to see upwards of 3 million. But I'm going to keep my estimate at 3.
Your estimates are tiny.
I know.
Like, these games are going to, like, all of them are going to do much better than you think.
They might. They very well might.
Yeah.
I just have conservative estimates. But I think Fallout 4 is just going to blow everything out of the water. It's the one company that we can rely on to bring out a really solid product, a very well-tested product. There's not going to be nearly as many bugs or any other issues. There probably will be a day one patch. But
We'll see.
Now, New Vegas was buggy, but that was not Bethesda.
Okay, but the thing is, Bethesda games are buggy.
A little.
Bethesda games...
God.
Which
You're so buggy.
Which ones?
Bethesda games, all of them, they're all buggy.
I'm having trouble remembering one that's really buggy.
Skyward Sword.
Skyrim?
Yeah. Skyward Sword had its problems.
Skyrim,
Oblivion had its problems. Morrowind had its problems.
Okay.
Fallout 3 had its problems.
Oh, yeah.
Fallout 3, I didn't run into a lot of problems.
Fallout Shelter. God.
Well, hold on. That I have not had any trouble with Fallout Shelter.
So much trouble with it.
Yeah, I know.
So fucking much.
It may be your Apple phone.
Actually, it was the iPad. Because
Is it
I'm
iPad?
playing it on my phone now. Well, not right this second, but I've been playing it on my phone and it's been fine.
On
Okay.
your new phone. That is
That's
a new phone.
Okay, there you go. Apple's good at making you buy new phones, by the way.
Okay, I
Just
got
not
one
you,
that's,
but-
super cheap.
Everybody, they're good at making people buy new phones. You don't upgrade your operating system, it's going to start breaking.
Yeah.
And other examples like that. But
Okay, but what I want to say about Bethesda games is that they don't have the kind of polish that you expect from a AAA release. What they do have is heart.
oh,
Okay?
absolutely.
You want to play these games and you want to forgive them for their problems because there's just so much to see, do, learn, and experience.
I mean, I've encountered. I'm not going to say that it's completely free of bugs in Bethesda games that I've experienced, but I think part of it is I forgive them. There's a level of forgiveness that is factored into my evaluation because one, they do games like nobody else does. They go an extra mile and they do that. They're actually in a true sandbox, like they do as as far into realism as they can possibly go with the technology they have, and so they push that envelope. So any bugs I come across are forgiven usually. Now New Vegas, even though it was a good game, was ridiculously buggy. Even though it was founded on it's supposed to be another Fallout game, it was not made by them. So in comparison, like that's how I make my assessment of Bethesda. I think their quality is just far superior because they could have been making those New Vegas games because they're the same type of stuff based on Fallout 3. So
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my evaluation of it.
My estimate is that this is going to be the highest one out of the three that we talked about, and it's going to get at least 8.
Yeah.
And I base this on two things. One, I think this is probably the most ambitious game that Bethesda has ever done. They have changed from that one company that makes those really big, really detailed RPGs that you kind of need to be an RPG player to play,
Yeah.
to really just making the games that have the most options and content. And you wind up becoming an RPG player along the way because you get sucked in because there's so much to do and so many choices to be made, and that has brought them to the forefront.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much so that I actually read an article today that said that Fallout 4's announcement increased Fallout 3's sales 1,000%.
Oh yeah, I think I had stumbled upon that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or did you send that to me?
No.
Okay, I stumbled upon that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a fan base that's not only excited, but growing extremely quickly.
We might see records broken, is what we might see.
It's going to take a lot to beat Destiny. I'm just going to say it right now. I love how I'm just like in the Destiny camp.
It's so weird. It's been over like 3 weeks that this has happened.
I didn't give it a fair shake.
Yeah.
To be fair, the beta was off.
The beta was bad.
Okay.
That was
Peter Dinklage.
Poor Peter Dinklage.
okay.
He's a wonderful actor, just not in Destiny.
Yeah.
So were we consistent, at least on our rankings of these, that Halo's going to do the worst, then Star Wars, then Fallout?
No.
You think?
No, I had Battlefield at the bottom.
That's right. You said 1 million.
Yeah, 1 million, and Halo's 1.5, and then 3 for Fallout.
Yeah, still really close. That's still extremely close. So that being said, Johnny,
Yes.
what you drinking?
Really?
Yeah,
You're bringing that segment back today? When we're sitting in front of each other and you know that I'm drinking tea?
3 out of the 4 times, of the last 4 times that we've done this here, you've brought beer
I didn't even
to
drink
my
it.
place of residence. I know. But you could have cracked one open.
I considered it today. I actually had beer at my parents' house I brought over there.
Yeah, so I don't know why you're looking at me in stunned silence
Okay,
while you're
look.
talking.
Okay. Yeah, but I guess the thing is you see what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a peace tea, which I've tweeted to PST's account from the Warlock's account and said how much I appreciate their product.
Okay. Did they tweet back?
No.
Okay.
But I really do. I love peace tea because it doesn't have any high fructose corn syrup in it, and it's really good green tea.
On a scale of 1, because like everything about that says granola socialist hippie times.
It does. It really does bother me, but I love the tea.
On a scale of 1 to Burning Man.
On a scale of 1 to Burning Man. Oh my. How about a drug-induced streaking at the Renaissance Festival?
That is correct.
Yay!
Man, Johnny's gotten like 2.
I know.
I know. Yay! I'm batting like, what is that? Like,
Zero.
Point.
Statistically 0.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, that's fair.
I feel like you've explained to me this before, but aren't batting percentages just that out of 100?
Yeah, but they use a decimal system. So it's like 1.0 is 100%. So everything else is going to be 0.9 whatever. If that's like 90. You're batting 900.
Okay.
You're batting 90%.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
batting 1,000. Okay.
Batting 1,000 is 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
but-
they do probabilities. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I also want to say that I was drinking the Nightmare on First Street, which is from No Label, which is a local Houston brewery, and it's a pumpkin beer, and that was actually really good. I wanted to put that out there too.
Why didn't you bring some?
I shared it with my family, and it's all gone.
That's
Gross.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
incest.
I can I can get more. We can
I
get.
know how much I love pumpkin spice everything.
I that's my bad.
We have pumpkin spice almonds.
Really.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, what do we have left?
Well, since we brought up a segment that we never do, I thought we could bring up a segment that we always do.
Top
3! Tonight's top 3 will be top 3 spoilers.
Fine.
So the reason that we're doing top 3 spoilers tonight, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, is
Yeah.
actually because the final Star Wars trailer will be out on Monday. So that's yesterday for everybody who's listening to this. And I don't know. What else needs to be said? Really? What else
In the
do
trailer,
we need to know?
In the trailer, I want to see more Luke Skywalker.
You're not going to see him.
That's what I want.
We haven't seen him yet. You have not seen him yet. You're not going to see him now.
Okay.
It's not going to happen.
That's too big of a reveal. Even though we know he's in the movie, it's too big of a reveal to reveal it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to lose all the wow factor. If they do it.
I don't know if Star Wars can lose the wow factor at this
No,
point.
if I see him in the trailer, I'm gonna be like, and I watch the movie, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember this from the trailer. Instead of going, oh my god, there he is.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people who believe that the big trailer, the one that we're all familiar with right now, is actually narrated by Luke Skywalker.
I've heard that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
think if it was Luke talking, I think if it was Mark Hamill talking, you would know because you just do.
Yeah.
God.
He should narrate it as a Joker.
God.
My father had it. My daughter has it. And my son, fat man. What do I need anything else said for me in this?
I doubt it.
No. In fact, less is probably more here. Mm-hmm. I think the only thing that you could... No.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't be satisfied if they brought in a stand-in for Obi-Wan. You know, if they chose a new actor for Obi-Wan's Force spirit, I wouldn't be satisfied with it. So I would prefer that they find a way to explain away his Force spirit. You
Okay.
know, and that needs to be something that I see in the movie.
Cool.
So no, the trailer. You know what? I think this is best left for a reaction. We need to do a reaction video on this.
Okay, when it comes out, we'll do it next episode.
Okay.
Or we'll do a
Yeah, we'll do
a video.
Yeah, a war room.
Yeah.
Okay, so look forward to that. But until then, top 3.
Again.
Night stop. No, you're gonna edit out the last one.
Am I?
What are you
Am I?
What are you doing?
It could work.
No.
It could happen. Make world.
No, It Could Happen is from Angels in the Outfield.
No, it's from
Yes, it
Mickworld.
is.
It explains to you all the possibilities of a McDonald's-centric
No.
universe.
No, that is from Angels in the Outfield. Yes, it fucking is.
Is this argument really happening right now?
Yes.
Very much so. So this is
I
going to
don't
replace
care.
the top three. Top three spoilers of all time.
Yeah.
Johnny actually had some clarifying questions to ask me. And
Yeah,
of
I
course,
did.
he asked me over Facebook, which means I got them about 5 minutes ago.
Right.
He wanted you wanted some clarification on the rules for how this works. I didn't think about it when I said it. I just said it.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
So really this is going to be
It's very interpretive. So why don't you just tell your rules?
my rules. They're very loose. I just chose stuff that I remember from my personal experiences. What were the top three or bottom three spoilers that have happened? And I don't know. I really don't. I didn't clarify it myself. I just wanted to make a list so I had something to talk about. Would you like me to go ahead and dig into mine?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Why don't
Top
you
or
go
bottom?
ahead, start with your top. Start with
Okay, so there's one particular spoiler, and it's kind of a big spoiler for me because I'm not sure if I ever would have played this game, but I kind of like to think I would. And I believe it was either Metroid or Super Metroid. And near the end of the game, before you go into the boss fight, you lose all the abilities that you've gained throughout the entire game. That's a thing, right?
Gosh, what I remember about Metroid and losing your abilities is that they find reasons to they do their darndest to explain why you don't have your abilities from the previous games. Kind of like in Mega Man, where you lose all of your abilities from the previous games.
Number 2 for me, Formula 1 spoilers on the cars, because they're very efficient and they help you hug the ground.
You help you hug the ground?
Yeah, the tires.
Because you're T.
Yeah.
Because you're a hippie now, you want to hug Mother Earth?
No, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's number 2.
Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah.
I appreciate. I think it's the laser-like precision with which your comedy comes at me. Like, that's not only jarring, but it's also the structure.
Yeah.
Because it's like watching a Marx Brothers movie. Because they were the kings. They had the formula down, and you could pick apart why it was funny. You could write whole books on the genius you just laid down. That was too critical. I love you, Johnny.
Yeah. Anyway, number 1 is
I think we should go out of our way to say that you did dislike this list in its entirety.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Facebook spoilers, and I don't mean Facebook is a spoiler or whatever, but I don't like when people take my favorite shows, Walking Get Smart, I've seen that. Walking Dead, or like Game of Thrones or something like that, and they actually spoil it on Facebook. That is the worst kind of spoiler.
Is it not?
Therefore, the best spoiler.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
one thing that you wanted to know, is if it's the worst spoiler, is it the best spoiler? Is it not part of the Facebook culture? I rarely read Facebook. Is it not part of the culture to, like, say spoiler alert before a post?
It's become, I think because of stuff like this, it has become the decent thing to do. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And generally that'll happen, but I ran across one recently. The Walking Dead one I think it was from the first 2 episodes of the new season, which just happened. And someone said something, and I was like, really? Really, bro?
How much could you spoil in the first 2 episodes?
I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
It's an episodic story arc. Whatever it is, it's not going to be as important as the spoilers on the season finale.
But what if someone died in one of those episodes?
Then you're going to... You could watch episode 5 of the season and learn that.
But why would I watch episode 5?
Just in case.
Just in case of what?
First one's too scary. Siskel and Ebert came out and they were like, hey, check it out, it's too scary.
And that would be a good spoiler.
Because they're both dead, so it's even scarier.
You're right. All right, what's your top 3?
Top 3 spoilers of all time. There's no bones about this. I got a lot of Star Wars throughout this list, and the top is actually the most Star Wars-y.
Go ahead.
So, number 3, Anakin's going to be in Episode 8. I'm actually excited.
Oh, yeah,
I don't mean Vader. I mean Hayden Christensen.
Right.
Is going to be in episode 8. And I'm really excited to see him being directed by a person.
Is George Lucas a robot?
George Lucas, I'm sure he's a fine man, but he just dropped the ball.
He's not a man, he's a robot. We just said that.
Need a clock for a head. Nobody gets that. No, I'm really excited to see J.J. Abrams. I like the way he directs people. I've seen him behind the scenes on stuff like Star Trek and stuff like that, and there's an energy about him that, we didn't see. In
Miltos was excited.
Huh?
Miltos was excited.
Miltos was very excited.
Yeah.
Which actually brings me to number 2. Miltos in episode 7. That was something that was spoiled for us by Miltos. We'll go ahead and put links below if you haven't seen or heard our episode with Miltos Iramulo.
Yeah.
But he's going to be in the movie.
Yeah, he is. And we're hoping we can get an interview with him, because we did interview him before. Mm-hmm. Closer to Star Wars.
He's so sweet.
He's the best.
He's a really great guy, and I'm really excited to see him in episode 7.
Yeah.
And number 1, this is the coolest story, like spoiler story of all time to me. So, Iron Man 1 starts with a hostage video of Tony Stark.
Right.
And he's surrounded by insurgents from the Nine Rings.
Right.
They are speaking a language called Urdu, which is the Pakistani form of Hindi.
Okay.
They're essentially the same language. Now, it's revealed later in the movie when Pepper actually runs a translator on that video that it's not a publicly released hostage video. It's a video that was intended specifically for Obadiah.
Yeah.
And so they're speaking to him about the plot to the movie. The thing is that they're speaking Urdu very well. And if you speak Urdu or Hindi, the movie spoils itself for you in the first 30 seconds.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I'm glad I don't. I am now. If I had learned Urdu in the last 2 years, I'd be happy.
Right.
Seems like an interesting language.
Sure.
But I'm glad that didn't happen to me.
Dodge that bullet.
Yeah. Bottom times.
Yeah, bottom times. Number 3.
Segue.
Yeah, segue. So this is. I had trouble coming up with a bottom list, and this is. I was thinking of stuff that, if it was spoiled, and stuff that's easy to spoil, if you have asshole friends or something like that, that these particular things would be really, like, it would be bad. I would be pissed off.
Okay.
The Usual Suspects. If somebody ruined that movie for me, I would have been really mad.
I have not seen it.
I will not ruin it for you.
Okay.
I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
You are?
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting movies that I haven't seen.
Me too, and actually I didn't see this one until fairly recent. Like in the last 4 years. And it came out a while back. I think it came out in the 90s.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. You need to see that one. I'm not going to ruin it for you because I'm not an asshole friend. At least I like to say that.
You do like to say that.
Yeah.
That was in your Christmas card to me. You mentioned it a lot.
Remember, I'm not an asshole. The Crying Game, I thought was dumb because everybody knows the spoiler on this one.
Yes.
And I finally watched some of the movie. This one pissed me off because I was tricked into watching The Crying Game because I knew the spoiler.
I don't know the spoiler. Never heard of that game.
It's a penis. The penis is a spoiler.
Oh, is it about the porn star?
Not a porn star, no.
Oh.
It's a fairly well done love story, as I understand it. I've never seen it, but
the movie's awful.
Really?
I cannot watch it. I actually skipped to the end.
Okay, so it's a rhetorically good love story that people reference a lot because there's the male genitalia at the end.
The writing
turns out to be a man.
Right. And the writing might be good. I don't know. I couldn't get over how bad the production values were. It was so
What year was it?
bad. I think this was late 80s or early 90s.
Interesting.
And it had some Irish Republic Army type thing going on at the beginning.
Type production company.
No,
Kept shooting the lead.
no, that was
You had a new cast every scene.
that was the setting, at least at the beginning. And I kept skipping through it. And I could not handle it. And then when you get finally to the end, it's a really big letdown.
Okay.
Make your penis joke here. But anyway, my number 1 is the Bible because because maybe I want to read it someday. But why would I? I already know how it ends.
Do you?
Yeah.
How's
What's
it
in the last chapter?
I couldn't tell you the last
in the
chapter.
last book?
It's the main
You
plot
don't know.
point. The main plot point.
About Christmas? The epic conclusion to Christmas?
Yeah. The guy dies at the end.
It's not the end.
Yeah. It's not the end of the book, but it's the end of the main plot point and the main story.
You think the through line of the Bible is Jesus?
The New Testament, yes.
Okay, granted.
Yeah.
But then again, you
2
could
books.
The Old Testament, everyone spoils that all the time. I used to go to church all the time. They told me the stories. I never got a chance to read them myself. I mean, I guess I had a chance. No, I didn't. I would say no, I did not have a chance. Before I could even read, they were telling me how that book goes.
That's extremely true.
Yes.
I gotta give that one to you. But the Bible is actually a collection of books.
True.
So you could say that about how many books are there in the Bible? Like 19?
It's kind of like Lord of the Rings.
I feel like somebody's going to get very upset if we don't say the right number soon.
Of what?
The number of books in the Bible.
It's not that big of a number.
It's got it.
It's like I think it's less than 10.
Why don't you just look it up so we can say the right words?
Fine.
I wish the goblins would take her away right now. That's not so hard, is it?
Okay, this is interesting. Okay, when the Jews closed the Old Testament canon, two criteria were used: that the book be written in Hebrew and Aramaic, and that it be no younger than the time of Ezra. This process led to the 24/39 books of the Tanakh and Old Testament.
A lot of books.
There's more than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's only half
Yeah.
the collection.
There are 66 books in the Bible.
Okay, yes.
One more 6.
We were way off.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, but that's my bottom list.
Okay, you're not wrong. Okay, bottom for me. Luke, I Am Your Father.
Yeah.
These movies have been around a lot longer than I have.
And it's not even a real quote.
Huh?
Yeah, that's not there.
It's not even a real quote.
I know. It's no, I am your father.
Yeah.
He never told you what happened to Anakin, did he? Either way, I just want to talk about that.
Fan service.
Yeah. But yeah, that movie's been around so long that jokes about that spoiler for me don't even resonate. It's like, how could you not know it?
Right.
So, it doesn't even register as a spoiler to me anymore, and as a result, it's a bad spoiler.
It's a bad spoiler because it doesn't have any weight.
Exactly. Number 2, Titanic.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's a very good choice there. I like that. I like this choice because everybody knows. In fact, I've never seen the end of that movie.
Really?
I've never seen it.
Hey, Johnny. The ship sinks.
See, why would I need to watch it? Now, are you talking about the actual boat sinking, or are you talking about the movie and what happens at the end of the movie?
Well, I guess you could say both.
Okay.
Because from the beginning, you know that Kate Winslet's character is going to survive. You know that.
Right.
Unless that would have been a good twist. If she had lied the entire time, that would have been my top.
Oh, see, the reason I thought it was a good choice is because everyone knows that DiCaprio's character does not make it.
Right.
Everybody knows. That's what I meant by I've never seen the end of that movie. I never had to.
Right.
There was no reason for me to do it because everyone told me how it ended.
Well, there's lots of running and punching and people shooting each other.
Having sex in cars.
People falling.
I saw that part.
People falling off the boat.
Actually, I was really young when that movie came out. Of course.
That's actually on his YouTube playlist.
Yeah.
Sexinthecar.com.
Sexinthecar.com.
Hosted by Johnny Dim.
I should make an alternate character called Johnny's Dim.
But yeah, the interesting thing about that is that there is an animated Titanic movie where they actually save the ship.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
Yeah, it's got like talking animals and stuff.
A time travel movie?
No.
Okay.
It's just an old mouse telling the real story of the Titanic from the perspective of the mice that stowed away on the ship.
So they save the ship, and then they go through a time portal or wormhole, right? And that's the rest of the story.
It was like a big secret.
Yeah.
Or like a whale saved everyone.
Yeah.
I saw a review of it. I didn't see this movie. Okay, and finally, number 1. This one's a little meta, but I still think it's worth mentioning. Johnny's pumpkin dip.
I forgot. I completely forgot. I completely forgot that you were putting this on here.
So, before we started the episode, now that Johnny had a face-to-face with me and all of his questions had been answered about how to make this list...
Right.
Do
you want me to tell it?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So I was trying to come up with my list, and I had an item that I wanted to put on my list, and it was right there on the tip of my tongue. And somebody started talking about pumpkins. It was Captain J. She said something, I don't remember exactly what the conversation was, but I had to make a conscious choice in my mind to either hold on to that one list item I was developing in my mind, or tell her about my recent discovery of a pumpkin spice dip that I saw on Facebook. And I made the choice. I'm going to tell her about this dip. And I did. And then I started laughing a couple minutes later, and I had to tell Zach and Captain J of this thing that played out in my mind. So that was it. That was the story.
You take the blue pill, and you stay in the Warpod and finish your list.
Yeah.
You take the red pill and see how far this pumpkin spice goes. The problem is choice.
Random thing that just reminded me of.
Huh.
That was the last item, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen the fan theory on The Matrix about how Captain Smith is actually the hero?
Captain Smith?
Did I just say Captain Smith? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did I just say that?
Yep.
Mr. Smith. That was
Agent.
his Agent Smith, yeah. Agent Smith is actually the one.
Yes, and I did see that. That's actually part of Matt Pat's. You may know him as.
I think we talked about this last episode.
The game theory guy. No, you mentioned it to me after the episode.
Oh, okay.
But he also has a show called Film Theory.
Film Theory, yeah.
He now owes us money.
Yeah.
And which I guess we're going to get some of that sweet Diet Coke money. You'll have to watch his shows to understand.
Right.
But either way, no, he did a theory about Agent Smith being the actual one, and it makes a lot of sense.
I love his theories, and this one is like the best orchestrated, like the most that made sense to me. Like it made all the sense in the world.
Yeah,
because there are so many plot holes in the Matrix that I feel like this is gratifying. This is like this is in a way makes up for those.
It actually exists in perfect contradiction to another theory of his, though. Which
doesn't surprise me. He has all kinds of theories.
It's actually one that occurred to me a long time ago. I just haven't made a video about it. And that's that Zion exists within a computer simulation.
Right.
Which would make anything having to do with Agent Smith being the one at all completely redundant.
Right.
Yeah.
It would. But I like the Agent Smith theory. I think that it actually makes those movies good to me. Like, even the ones that are not the best. Of course, usually everyone has the same most people have the same feeling. The first Matrix movie is the best, the other two are not so great. But, I think this...
one's god-awful.
Yeah.
I actually like the second one.
Oh, okay.
That's fine that you like them. I'm just saying,
wrong.
generally a lot of people... generally, that's the most common feeling towards those movies, is the Matrix is... The first one is the best.
Well, it's actually, like, the second one is so much of a spectacle, and the action is so...
Over the top, yeah.
Yeah. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And there was actually interesting ideas in it to me. Because I love the idea that the most dangerous place you can go is the freeway.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you think about it logically, even though they don't spell out for you why, when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And that was something that they handled really well and very subtly, despite the fact that it was that scene.
Okay. We need to talk about Extra Life real quick.
Extra life real quick!
Okay.
Extra life real quick! If you are Johnny Depp, you talk extra quick! That's the theme for that segment.
Oh, okay. I don't talk that fast, but I understand why. It makes sense. I gotcha. Extra Life. So we are doing Extra Life. We're going to talk about this every episode until it happens. Which I think we have 3 more, maybe. Extra Life, we are participating in Extra Life. If you don't know what Extra Life is, it is a charity that helps out sick kids in the hospital. We've participated in the 24-hour gaming marathon, the last 2 years. This will be our 3rd year. And this year...
Which, by the way... We're the champs. Every year we have participants. God love them. They're still good friends of ours, but they don't make it to 24 hours. The Warlocks go the distance.
Right, we do. We're champs. We're absolute champs.
I think the champs are the kids.
They are the yes. They're
there you go.
they're the master champs.
Yes.
Yeah, if it were. Okay. Anyway, but we are doing that, and we are actually going to doing it. We're going to do a stream the entire 24 hours. We're actually going to do. We're trying to put a lot of effort into the quality of the stream. We're going to be having 4 games going at once for the first 12 hours, and these are games that are going to be. Well, I guess I might as well name them. They're going to be Fallout 3, DC Universe Online, Minecraft, and Mass Effect 2. Mm-hmm. And these all have some type of customizable element. So what we're going to do is this little fun little thing. Every hour and a half, I can determine the time. It's going to be an hour and a half. That way we each play each game twice.
Okay.
During the 12 hours. And we're going to rotate every 1.5 hours. So we will be playing somebody else's game that someone else started. And we're going to keep doing that. And a part of me is a little worried that I don't know if this is something that makes sense, but I have a feeling that you're going to do something drastic to each character.
Wildly so.
Yeah.
Because I know DCU up.
Yeah.
I know that game very well.
Right.
I know how to mess with it.
Yeah. So you're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Can I start out with?
That's what we're doing. And then, for the next 12 hours after that, we'll wrap that up, and then we're going to do only either co-op or some other type of multiplayer games.
Mario Maker.
I do not want to do Mario. That's not a multiplayer game.
Right. It's Johnny plays levels we made for you.
Oh, that's... Okay, if we're doing that, that would happen at the end of the stream.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that'll be like the cap off of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But we have a list going of other games we might play. We should play a little bit of Halo 5 since it'll be new.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And then we got a bunch of other stuff we might play.
But yeah, I know that I set mine up to where all donations to me, you do donate to individual players, and they are lump sums.
Oh, right.
It's not like a subscription where you're going to give me like $2 for every hour. You're like, okay, I'm glad you did this. Here's $20 right now.
Yeah, you determine how much that 24 hours is worth, and then you just throw a value at it.
Or during it too.
Absolutely.
And mine is set up to where all proceeds will be going to Texans Children's Hospital.
I think all of ours are.
Okay, so
yeah.
all proceeds that you donate to the Warpod or to Warlocks in general will be going directly to Texas Children's Hospital to fund research and individuals who can't pay for certain medical facilities and treatments, et cetera. And this is all part of the Guardian Angel Network.
Miracle Network. Children's Miracle Network, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully we're gonna raise a lot of money for kids.
Yeah.
And we hope to see you all on the stream.
Absolutely, and we set a goal of $1,500, and we really hope that you'll help us meet that and surpass it if possible. So there's that, and I think that's all we got for the episode.
Great, and on that note, I think it's time to say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
This has been another proud production of the Four-Eyed Radio Network. You want to see more shows, go check out www.foureyedradio.com, you winkers.